Yo, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to Afro Wonders. It's been a minute since I made an Afro review. And if you don't know what an Afro review is, just to recall, it's me just telling my experience of what it is to be in black in a different country, in a different part of the world. So I made them in different regions. This one is about France. And yeah, my first time being in France was quite some time ago, and I've been several times, so I can kind of give a full picture, at least of my experience. And as I always say in every Afro review, this is my experience being black. I can't, blanket statement anything on what it's like being black, because it's not it's not a singular experience. Everybody has a different experience on who they are based on where they're from, the encounters they have, the people that they meet in a place. So I'm just gonna tell you about mine, and hopefully you can take something from it. And I appreciate y'all checking in. So with no further ado, let's go. So I've been there 3 times, so I can kind of give you a little more rounded perspective. I've only spent 2 weeks there total maybe, so it's not a huge amount of time, but I can just tell you about my experience, of course. But it's good because I'm not gonna just tell you about the bad stuff or the good stuff. I'm gonna tell you about everything that I felt in my time, because France in general just felt like a lot of different things to me at a lot of different times. So I'm gonna go through it with you. And also in my time, I, of course, looked at different factors as well. The food, the transportation, the weather, the entertainment options, just sights, the nature. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you about everything here. So let's go. I noticed, especially around the bigger touristy sites like the Afro, the Notre Dame, and in other major European cities like Florence or in Italy. Once you get around those major sites, then you'll see a lot more people of migrant backgrounds that are out selling things. They lay their blankets out, and they have a lot of trinkets or little keychains and magnets or small models of the Eiffel or something like that. And yeah, I always wonder, and I should just ask, obviously. And it's been a while since I've been there, but the next time I go, it's something I want to do is actually talk to them about their path there and how long they've been there and what that path to integration in a place looks like, if there is one, if they want to go to school, if they want to find different types of work. Obviously, I can't knock the hustle that they're out there, they're getting money, they're living their lives probably. Raising families, but that's something I'm always curious about, and it's something I don't have an answer to. So I don't know. Yeah, if you know anything, drop it down in the comments or say something. Tell me something if you have any thoughts about it. Now, one stereotype that I heard about Parisians before I had even gone there is that they don't care too much for English, and that has been proven true. Like they don't. It's particularly Americans, I think. I can just see it. I can see a difference in how I'm spoken to or people's attitudes towards me. And hey, I'm in your country. I don't speak the language. Maybe I come off as area, or maybe they just deal with too many. And I think in a lot of places in Europe, they're just saturated with America, and they're just done with it. They don't want to hear anymore about America, and I think it's been a long time coming for somewhere like Paris, but. I even feel it here in the Netherlands, I bring up America, or I tell people I'm from America, they're like, oh, America. Yeah, do you like Trump? I remember they asked me that a lot when he was still president, or there's a lot of negative perceptions in this specific part of the world on America. But yeah, I can only speak for Paris really when I say people don't care for English. In the other parts, like in Grenoble, I didn't get that feeling at all. And in Paris, you're gonna get around just fine, of course. It's very diverse, and like I said, super mega city. So English tends to be the universal language in cities like that. But once you get out of Paris into little low-key spots, then or even smaller places in Paris, then you'll start to get some stares like, really, you're just gonna come up to me speaking English? Like, you can see, like, they don't care for that. Yeah, a lot of people don't like that, and why not? You know, we're in France, speak French. But it's just a phenomenon that you don't get in a lot of other European cities, in my experience. Um, but like I said, I also went to Grenoble, and that's just a little small valley town in the Alps, and yeah, the people there, it's actually, for it to be such a small town, it's actually a very big international town. I think a lot of students, I think a lot of students come there, and a lot of research is done there for different reasons. Um, and yeah, and so it's a pretty diverse crowd there too, but also kind of that mountain chill feel around it as well. And I really like that. My dad likes it too. We love Grenoble. A lot of Irish pubs, so he can drink his Guinness. Yeah, but people there were just friendly in Grenoble. That's not my experience in Paris, so I'm glad that I went there to Grenoble. So, because otherwise my impression of French people will probably be very skewed. I mean, Paris is a mega city also, just like New York or London, LA. So, you know, people ain't got time for your touristy nonsense. So like I said before, a few experiences in Paris just left a really bad taste in my mouth. And usually when I'm traveling solo and I have a bad experience or a negative encounter with another person, and I can come up with a litany of reasons why that might have happened. But in this trip, I went with my good friend Bethaney, who is a white woman, and while we were traveling, I mean, she just decided, she asked me if I wanted to go to Paris. You know, we were in London studying abroad, and it was just a quick ferry ride over, so I'm like, hell yeah, let's do it. And we spent the weekend there. It was really, yeah, it was a cool trip. It was cool that we could just do that, you know, as like 19-year-olds or something. Yeah, while there, I remember we walked a lot, so much. That's all we did, was walk, just go to different places. And she asked if I wanted to go to the Louvre. I didn't know nothing about Paris. You know, I just knew the Eiffel Tower existed. But other than that, you know, I really wasn't savvy with traveling at that time. It was really my first travel outside with my family. And I'm just like, what is the Louvre? What is the Louvre? And she's like, that's this big museum. It's where the Mona Lisa's at. I'm like, all right, bet, let's go. So the Louvre is this world-renowned museum, one of the most famous in the world, and like I said, where the Mona Lisa is, but where so many better paintings are as well and pieces of art. And usually one of the first stops people make when they travel to Paris. So while I'm there, we get to the Louvre, and if you've never been, it has this huge, grandiose entrance, this huge walkway before getting into the doors, and massive, beautiful doors as well. So very aesthetically nice, and we get there. So say the walkway, just this huge, like this. She's standing in the middle. I'm standing off to the side. She's in the middle where she got a little camera. She's taking pictures of the wall, the walkway. I'm just off to the side, chilling, just watching her and just enjoying the view. And I noticed these two cops or two policemen or guards out in front of, kind of right in front of the entrance. And I see them staring at me very intensely and talking to each other, but like not taking their eyes off me also. And you know, it happens, you know, I'm not so, I get kind of used to that, like, okay, you know, I get it. But yeah, I'm not paying them too much mind, but I do notice it. And then she finishes up taking pictures. So we're in the walkway, she starts walking towards the entrance. I get off the wall and start walking towards her, then next to her. I just feel an arm on my shoulder, like, ugh. I turn around, like, what the hell is that? And they say something in French, it's the guards or the police. And they say something, I'm like, what? They say something in French. I say, what? And then she's like, what are you doing? She said that to them, and they're like, oh, is he with you? Yes, he's with me. Oh, sorry. Okay, bye. They turn around, just start walking, power walking together. I'm just like, what was that? I'm yelling at them, like, what was that? What are you doing? And they're not turning around, they're not interacting, just out. And I get it, I understand why. But I'm also like, where the hell y'all going? Ain't y'all working? Like, y'all like, they left. Like, did they just resign due to their own racism? And they just left. And I'm like, okay, where that just happened? And yeah, I never know how to feel in those moments. You know, you feel like first you get shocked because of how obvious or how blatant it is. But then you have an unresolved feeling because it just happened and it's over, you know. And yeah, it was a shitty feeling. I mean, and then I talked to her about it, obviously, and she's just like, that was really fucked up. Like, we talked about that, and yeah, it just made me wonder, like, what is it? What is it exactly about me that made it look like I'm gonna do something? You know what I mean? Like, they're just suspicious of me. And when I walk next to her, then they feel like, okay, we gotta do something about this before it's too late. What did they think I was gonna do, first of all? They think I was gonna steal something? They think I was gonna hurt her? Yeah, what do they think I'm up to, you know? And I think, what if I actually wasn't with her? What if I'm just happen to be walking and we end up being next to each other and I don't know her and they ask me these questions and she doesn't know me, you know? And she doesn't say, yes, he's with me, what are you doing? You know, what happens? Is that grounds to kick me out? Is that grounds to arrest me? Like, what? I just don't know. Like, what does that lead to? And I'm lucky that it ended there because, yeah, I'm sure in a lot of cases, of course, in a lot of cases, it doesn't go that way. So, yeah, it's a shitty situation. I think about it sometimes, and it's something that hasn't really left. You know, it's even though it was as fast and you know, nothing physically impairing happened, nothing really bad happened. It stays with me. Yeah, it hasn't left. It's something I still feel when I think about it, and like I still think like, oh, I should have done this or this. I wish I could have said this. So like, there's still something unresolved even about that, and I hate that people have that type of power to leave those kind of impacts, lasting effects on you. And you know, if that was the only thing that happened, then cool. But it wasn't the only thing that happened. I think the next day in Paris, after a lot of traveling, and also if Bethaney told that story, she would be like, she's so dramatic about it. She's just like, and then the cops grabbed him and swung him around. It was like, ah. And I was like, that didn't happen. Didn't happen like that. But then the next day, you know, we walked so much, like I said, and then we end up at like a little fast food restaurant with two little broke college students. Not much money, so yeah, we just stopped in, get something to eat, get some grub, some fuel, kick through the day. And I'm in line in front of her, in front of Bethaney, and I order, I think a burger and a cup of water. And the lady's just like, oh, sorry, we don't give cups of water. I don't think she said sorry. She said, no, there's no cups of water. I'm like, oh, all right, that's how y'all do it out here. Cool. I got my burger and I went to, sat down. Didn't think much of it. I was like, I guess this is just the way it is. And then Bethaney comes after she orders, and she comes with 2 cups of water. And I'm like, what the fuck? What is this? She's like, yeah, I saw what happened. I saw her tell you that. And I don't know why she said that, but I asked for 2 and she gave it to me. So here's the water for you. I'm like, okay. That's fucked up. And then I'm just sitting there the whole meal, just like boiling, just looking at the lady. And just like, mean mugger, just thinking of all the shit I'm gonna say to her. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna be like, you ain't got water? What now? I'm just thinking of all these things and just like enraged by it. I don't know, like why? I just don't know why, you know? And it just leaves you to come up with all these different reasons why it might have happened, you know? Is it because I'm black? Is it because I'm a male? Is it because I'm American? I'm probably not that, because Bethaney's American too. She got 2 cups. So, you know, these are both also isolated incidents, 2 very separate things. And different ways, and one is with the service industry, one is justice system or department, the police. But either way, I left Paris not feeling welcome there, not being served what I asked for, while the next person in line could get multiple. And I'm sure she didn't know that I'm with her. And yeah, being semi-harassed by police. These are things that stick with you as well. And like I said, I'm really happy that I went to Grenoble as well, the other city in the Alps in France, because I get a different look of what the country can be about. And the people are so friendly there, no matter where you're from. So yeah, we would be out late night, me and my dad, and just having Guinness, drinking, and just finding some Irish pubs. And it's just such a beautiful place. If you ever get a chance to go to Grenoble, highly recommend it. Paris, yeah, as you wish. But yeah, that's my experiences about what it's been like for me being black there. So obviously, like I said, in Paris, I felt that the service could be much better. I've had negative experiences around that. But I should say, out of those two experiences, outside of those two, I've actually had a really good time in Paris, when it comes to restaurants or even clubs where I go out at night and have fun. And the best part about being in a mega city is you can usually get around just fine with English. You don't have to think about anything. Unless you run into some people that would rather speak French than English, and then they just don't switch, or they just kind of act annoyed with you, which that does happen. It does. It's a thing there. But once you get past that, it's very easy to get around. Because Paris, it's just one of those places where, you're not treated special because you're American. Don't think you will be, and that's fine. We shouldn't be in general. But in a lot of places that I go to, I realize once I started speaking, they hear my accent, they're like, get dollar signs in their eyes sometimes, or they just get interested in where you're from, like, oh, America. But yeah, a lot of times they're just like, okay, this person is here on tourism or for work. They're here to spend some money. But yeah, in Paris, there's so many people there and so many people that travel there. It's a mega city, so yeah, you're not looked at any more special because you're from a certain place. Like I said, being treated just like everybody else, that's all I can ask for or hope for. Safety in France is entirely dependent on where you are in the country, of course. It's relatively low crime rate in the country itself, but once you get to the major cities, it's like double the murder rate, for instance, outside than other countries. When you're talking about Paris or down in the south of France, certain places. So, just like I said, it just depends on where you are in the country. And there's also, like I said, around the major sites, the touristy sites, there are a lot of people trying to run scams on you. There's also a lot of pickpocketers, so you gotta really watch yourself. Big crowds. They got it fine-tuned, like they know how to really get some stuff out of you. Somebody will distract you, somebody will snatch something out of your pocket. You'll be fine if you're just alert, just be aware, just don't have your stuff out loose, easily taken. And also, like I said, people will run scams. It's not just Paris, it's a lot of major cities. People will try, I remember in Italy, for instance, and I know this happens as well in Paris, but somebody will lay out their painting or some drawing or something like that on the floor, but try to kind of get you to step on it, so you have to pay for it or something. Or in Paris, I've seen several times, somebody will just walk up to somebody like, oh, hey, like they have a bracelet in their hand, and if you just interact with them, and they'll just be like, hey, can I see your hand? And they'll ask you, give your hand. They'll just tie the bracelet around your wrist real tight. Okay, cool. Okay, great. Okay, so that's €5. You're like, oh wait, I wasn't planning on buying this. Can you take this off of me? And they're just like, no, it's okay. You keep it. And €5. So they definitely get a lot of people with that one. That's a good one, actually. And it's not that you're unsafe, but in a sense, they play on your peace of mind. You know what I mean? They play on that safety feeling, because if you're not from there, if you don't know how to deal with that, then you're like, oh wait, did I do something wrong here? Or I shouldn't have taken this. Oh man, did they just get me? If I say no now, what happens? You know, they get mad. What's gonna happen? I'm not from here. You know, they play on that. They also know that. So it's just something to watch out for. You know, unfortunately, you have to be on guard about things like that, unless you just want to be dishing out money or getting into little small conflicts and whatnot. I wouldn't say it's a rampant problem, but you're gonna run into it if you go, for sure. But like I said, I also went to Grenoble. I went to the Alps, the French Alps, and there's no sense of any of that. It's not a big touristy place, unless you're going for like skiing, I think. But it's just in the valley, and I felt no sense of danger with my time there, like walking around in the middle of the night anywhere, really. Like also in Paris, I've heard, I haven't experienced it for myself, obviously, but for women, it's less safe to be walking around at night by yourself. You might be approached by men. So that's, like I said, not my experience, but it's something I've heard from several people. And it's something obvious. I guess it's something obviously in a lot of major cities. It comes with it. But in Grenoble also, there's also a lot of, probably at night, a lot of drunk college students or something like that. So whatever comes with that, that's gonna be there. But never felt in danger there. In Paris at times I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be in this part at this time of the day. And that's true. And that's true in every country, really. So I say that all to say it just depends on where you are. Depends on where you are in the country. So France definitely isn't the cheapest of the countries of the world. And particularly Paris, being a huge city. They're generally overpriced just because they know they can overcharge you. I think over 30 million tourists travel to Paris every year, and usually crowd around the same 10 attractions, right? So because of that, and so they're all relatively close to the city center, all general vicinity of each other. Because of that, all the restaurants, bars, shops, everything around there knows that they can overcharge because people are going to go there anyway. And usually tourists aren't going to travel outside of the city center just to find, for instance, the best food or nice places to shop. Usually people just like to stay, they feel all cozy in the city center. So because of that, people get overcharged, and that'll keep happening. So if you do want to find the better things, that's the thing. Once you leave the city center, then you find the price drops dramatically usually, and the quality usually gets higher because in the city center they know they're gonna go there anyway. Yeah, they also overcharge you, but the quality is lower usually than once you get out of the city center, because they know you're still gonna come. They can do whatever they want, and of course you have your exceptions, that you're gonna be great places in the city center as well. But unfortunately, in my experience, a lot of places that I've had that are super expensive in the center, just like adequate, or don't like it, or they're very touristy, like geared towards Americans, for instance. That's not what I'm looking for. God, I'd rather have American food in America because they do it better. And that's the thing. Even in Grenoble, for instance, I was surprised to find that it's expensive like Paris, really. Like, when I say expensive, I'm not talking about Switzerland, which is, $40 for a meal, without drinks, or $30, or like Denmark or something, not Scandinavian expensive, but major city, huge city expensive. Even Grenoble is like that, surprisingly. So, you gotta be ready, you gotta have your pockets lined, or just do a little more research before you go if you don't want to spend so much money. But also the attractions are like moderately priced, which is nice. For instance, like going to that Louvre museum, it's like $17 or something. It's very accessible. You can even go at night. Or going up to like the top of the Eiffel Tower is like 20, 25 bucks or something like that. It's not out of this world. But those are the things that most people go to do when they go to Paris. So the fact that it's not crazy expensive, that's cool. France has a lot to offer in terms of food, although I'll say in my experience, I haven't had a great experience with finding great food there. But of course, like I said, in a major city, you can find amazing variations of like every type of food. But when I'm there, I'm always trying French food. I always want to try the French food and see what I can discover. And in general, I had some good dishes like duck confit or pommes frites. I did try escargot once, which is just snails, and they're not my cup of tea. Mostly the slimy texture of it that I don't like, but the taste is alright. It tastes like chicken. Not really. But yeah, it's also too much work to get it out. You really gotta dig it out of the shell with these little skewers. It's alright. But my brother, friend, and my sister, they went to some chicken and waffles place, which I was surprised was there, and they were just like, it's absolutely fantastic. You know, they told me about that. I had some of the leftovers, and it was great. So that's why I say, if they had that, I know they have different variations of every food that will be delicious. I just haven't discovered that. And usually when I'm traveling, that's not my emphasis as well. So yeah, I don't think you'll be hurting when you're looking for food in Paris. You just gotta look for the right places. I do love French pastries though. You know, croissants, pain au chocolat, beignets, eclairs, etc., etc. Those are really good. You know, when my family was there, when we were all there together, we were popping in croissants like Tic Tacs. It was like, so there is that. That's a great thing about Paris food or French food. And if we're talking about transportation in Paris, you can miss me with that, man. That's no fun. Yeah, if we're not walking, then I'm gonna just call it Uber, find a Lime scooter or something like that. Yeah, I think after living in the Netherlands for some time, the transportation is so seamless here and everything is so organized. You know, if I want to go to Amsterdam, I take the train that says it's going to Amsterdam. That's it. Like, it's the name of the train line. It's platform 7 to Amsterdam Central. Cool. And I just got spoiled, really. That's what it is. And growing up in North Carolina, we didn't have public transportation. We did have buses. You don't want to take that though in North Carolina. Like, to get 30 minutes down the road, it'll take a 2.5 hour bus ride or something like that. So I'm not used to also riding public transport until I came to the Netherlands, and then I got spoiled. And then I go to Paris, and it's like, okay, where do I, like, why isn't it so clear? Like I said, in Netherlands, you want to go to Amsterdam, take the train that says Amsterdam. In Paris, it's like red line, blue line, A line, B line. Like, what the fuck? Just tell me where I'm going. And I just haven't figured it out. I mean, if you're from like New York, if you're used to taking trains, it's easy. It's probably seamless for you. Or in London, probably, but no, London's even easy. London's easy too. They got cool names for their lines. Yeah, like this is the Piccadilly line. Piccadilly. So, anyways, in Paris, yeah, it's just not fun. I get lost every time, and that's me. Maybe you'll be better off, but yeah, it's not fun for me. And also driving is hectic. Traffic is so bad in Paris, and also it's just a lot of hostile drivers. Like, I guess it's typical big city problems. But I don't know why people are so mad. Like, yeah, if you can avoid driving, I would. But if you plan on taking a road trip outside of Paris, that's the only reason I would say get a car. That's what I did. So yeah, I'd recommend that, because driving through France in general is really nice, like outside of the city, of course. it's really cool on the highways. I mean, it's a lot of like small hilly roads and windy roads, but a lot of pastures, hilly pastures, very scenic. And out in the fields, a lot of times you see old castle ruins or just really cool things like that. And also the highway signs are really nice in France. They're like these brown signs with images on them, usually with the name. So for instance, if you go into Fontainebleau, some town off an exit, then it'll say Fontainebleau, and then also have a picture under it of the I think it's the huge chalet, the main attraction in that city. So it's really cool, like everywhere you're driving, but it's like every exit has that, you know? So it's also just like, oh, we stopped in Fontainebleau just because I like the name and I like that picture. Let's go find that thing, you know? And then we just get off the exit, have lunch there on our road trip, look at this chalet thing, and keep it pushing. So I do like driving outside of the city. And also, we went into the Alps. We went to this national park, Ecrins. I still don't know how to say it properly. It's spelled Ecrins, Ecrins, but it's French, so it's probably Ecrins. But anyways, we driving. Yeah, we had to drive like a couple hours. I don't know if it's a couple hours. We drove some ways away from Grenoble to get here, and all the way up in the mountains, like really high. I can't remember exactly how high, but yeah, there's some dangerous roads up there too, like cliffside, where you gotta really like squeeze past another car, but you gotta make sure not to go too far over because you're gonna fall off this mountain like that. So it was terrifying and thrilling, exciting at the same time. We also like almost ran out of gas, so on the way back down, it was one of those roads where you just up, wind, up, back and forth until you're all the way on the top. So coming back, we were really low on gas. Bad idea. Fill up your gas before you go on a day trip to the mountains. But the whole way down, we just put the car in neutral so we weren't using gas, and we just rolled down the hill. That was fun. Exciting. Yeah. So anyways, driving in France, just like anywhere else, it depends on where you are. The city's not so nice. The countryside's beautiful, so if you're taking a road trip, get a car. That's it. Considering the country's demographics, the safety, my personal experience, transportation and the food, I'd recommend to go to France for sure. Like I would recommend to go anywhere. And I had several negative experiences that I felt were racially motivated in some ways, and but I'll never let somebody's actions dictate how I explore a country, you know what I mean? Or change the fact that I do want to see more of this place. You know, maybe it'd have to be really bad for me to do that. And like I said, I don't want to give anybody that type of power, and also I don't want to give you the impression that, yeah, if you go, that's what would happen to you if you've never been. It is a beautiful country and there's so much to see. It's just so much going on, and especially in a city like Paris, that you do got to be aware of your surroundings and what's going on where you're at. Staying in the city center tends to be the safest bet, but you know, you can definitely explore around, and there's beautiful things and very safe places outside of the city as well, outside of the center and outside of the city. So yeah, my favorite experience in France by far was hiking Ecrins National Park. It's so beautiful. It's yeah, I can't really put words to it exactly, but just traveling with my family and being able to see a place as beautiful as this and hiking with them and feeling that it was an intense hike too. It was really hard, but it was so worth it when you get to the top and there's this lake on the top of this mountain. I highly recommend, if you get the chance to go there, to do it. So by far that was my favorite experience. That usually is my favorite experiences in a new country, is the nature. So that's just me, and so much of your experience just depends on who you're around, who you happen to encounter with while there. And this is just my experience, so I always encourage people to figure it out for themselves, you know, and share with me what your experience is. So if you have been to Paris and you'd love to share your experience, or to France in general, and you'd like to share, then please comment below. Or if you're from there and you have thoughts about what I've said, then feel free, please do. Or anything else, comment. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. And yeah, I'll make some more on other countries. So, and I'll definitely be back to France. There's some more that I need to see. I need to go to the south, to the beach side, to Nice, Marseille. There's a lot to see. So, we'll be back, and then I'll make an update. So, appreciate y'all watching. I'm gonna catch y'all on the next one. All right, peace.